Guys, it's going down this weekend at UFC 293 with Adesanya stepping up to defend his title against Sean Strickland, and my partners at DraftKings are offering an incredible deal for all new customers who sign up using the promo code Sonnen. New customers, you can bet $5 on any of this weekend's fights, and you're going to receive $200 in bonus bets instantly. You can even use your bonus bets on DraftKings same fight parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout. Combine multiple bets together from the same fight, including number of rounds and method of victory. Remember, DraftKings is the only place where you can bet same fight parlays. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in all the fun with DraftKings Daily Fantasy. So click on the link below. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code Sonnen and get in on all the fun. All right, let's take a look at the UFC heavyweight division. There's a number of moving parts here. There's a number of stories that keep coming out about the heavyweights. I don't know that I can agree with a single one of them, by the way, and I feel as though I see contradictions, and I'm not turning on the media. I'm not even turning on you, the fans. The athletes are terrible with their messaging. I mean, let me give you a great example. So, Jon Jones isn't half bad at building a fight. I know he gets credited for being terrible at promotion, but he's not. I mean, the way he went after Daniel Cormier, just by example, it was authentic and it was real. He put down the fake Bible verses and the calm speaking. He put all that aside and he came out for what he is, which is a cage fighter. It's very interesting. The way that Jon attempted to build a fight with Francis Ngannou sucked until it was gone. And then Jon really did want it. And the very few things that he did were very captivating. Because he put the Bible down, he put the fakeness aside, and he came out for what he is, which is a dirty, rotten cage fighter. It was great. Now Jon is working a routine that he's considering retiring after Stipe. Now, you must understand what's happening here. There's no reason for these two to fight. So out of a desperation play for a story, you got to have a story, right? You can't market without a story. Somewhere out of a desperation play, the idea was hatched that we're going to make this a retirement fight for both guys. Okay, great. And then Jon, over time, forgot that that was an angle. And this didn't take long. I mean, this was like 2 weeks of talking about, I might retire, it might be my last one, to a fully committed, I'm retiring. As a matter of fact, I don't even want to fight those younger guys. So now you got a guy where we created an angle and he bought in to try to get some interest, who now believes that it's true. And this happens every time. We as human beings are whoever we pretend to be. So I was worried about this. I made this piece at the time it happened. I said, hey guys, we got to be real careful here. Jon is not about to retire. He's not interested in retiring. He's not in a position to retire. Nothing about that is real. But if he keeps going with this, he'll forget and then he'll go retire. So back this up for you one time. Jon's going to retire after Stipe, and he's furthered that thought. I'm not going to fight the younger guys. Where that becomes a problem, he's already agreed to fight Pavlich, and he might be fighting Pavlich that very night. That fight of Jon and Stipe has a backup fighter, Sergey Pavlich. So they both can't be true. Jon cannot be Stipe or bust. Stipe and bust. That can't be and if anything happens to Stipe, I'll fight Sergey. They can't be true at the same time. Hold that thought. Let's go over to Surreal. So, Surreal Gone appears to have things figured out. I don't know that he needs the advice of Chael P. In all fairness, when you're 1-1 in your last two and you can walk into a world title fight, which he did, great job. If you can fight in your home country and do next to no media and sell the place out, great job. If you can get done with the fight and tell the world Not a name, not what you want, not that guy right there, Tom Aspinall, who is directly involved with this entire production. Like, there's a number of people in the building that night and watching from around the world, and I know that because I was one of them. The only reason I'm still watching, once all the action's done, of course, the only reason I'm still there is because the only piece of business we haven't finished is between Surreal and Tom with a microphone in between them. And I'm excited about it, and I'm looking forward to it. And Tom did that. Tom created that whole thing. And Surreal not only didn't go for Tom, he didn't go for Pavlich, he didn't go for Jon Jones, he didn't go for Steve, he didn't go for anybody. He went for, and I quote, whatever moves me forward. Now, I don't know who wherever moves me forward is. I don't know where he trains at. I don't know where to find him. I don't know how big he is. I don't know what his record is. I don't know if he's scary. I don't know a damn thing about him. I don't know how you fight whoever moves me forward when you're ranked number 1. Are you guys aware of that? And speaking of that ranking, so I guess that actually came out today. That actually came out after he fought. But this whole I'll do whatever moves me forward routine isn't what we just did. We just fought a sold out on the worldwide leader, wonderful performance gaining bonus against a guy who is not going to move you forward. As a matter of fact, he's ranked 8 or 9 places behind you. Hey, Surreal, isn't this actually what you want to do? Don't you want to keep fighting guys behind you in sold out arenas in main events? That when you go out and do exactly what everybody thought you were going to do, you can get a $50,000 bonus? Right? I mean, what do you mean I want to go move forward? Who moves you forward? What moves you forward? Forward in what? Forward in what? In an unmanned, unnamed, unspecified ranking system where you can apparently beat a guy who's behind you and you can move forward? I mean, they put the ranking out today on Surreal. They're tied. You can't have a tie. You can't have a tie. You can't have 2 number 1 contenders. You cannot have 2 champions. I don't make the rules. These words have meaning. You can't do that. They did it. They couldn't make a decision. They had a tie. They put a guy, not for nothing, but they put a guy who's 2-2 in his last 4. Okay? He was 1-2 in his last 3. He had a losing record out of his last 3. Now, I admit they were against some studs. But he got a win, and that evened him out. Now he's 2-2, right? Now he's batting 500. You got him tied with a 29-1. I don't even know where that 1 came from. I'm talking about Sergey Pavlich. I don't even know how many in a row he's won. I know how many in a row he's stopped by knockout in the first round. That's 6. I don't know how many in a row he won. Maybe that's also 6. Maybe it was the one before that went down. But you took a guy who stopped 6 men in a row in under 5, and you just couldn't make a decision if he should be in front of or behind a guy who had a losing record on Saturday, but evened it out to 2-2 in his last 4. You just couldn't make that decision, right? So you want to get moved forward if you're Surreal Gun. By who? I mean, is that who controls you? Do I control you, Surreal? Is that how you see it? You want to get moved forward? You want me to say something nice about you? It doesn't have to be the direct me, but the me, is that how this works? And it's one of these spots where when I do look at the heavyweight division, I'm saying, hey, this is still a perennial division. It could be a lot better, right? It could be a lot better. Jon Jones has a skill that he doesn't know he has. Jon's interesting. Or at least Jon can be interesting. But that's the Jon that's got just a little bit of edge to him. That's the Jon that's got a little bit of anger. You can see it in his eyes. And you get the real Jon and you see it in his eyes, not the one that's prepared to stay calm in this interview. That's got a headache from the party the night before, right? That one doesn't draw. But you do have an interest there, and I do think Jon is a competitor. I think he's a very legitimate competitor. And for him to come out and say I'm retiring when he's already agreed to fight Pavlich, I'm sitting here covering the guy. I've been covering him for months. It was months ago. They didn't know if they could get Stipe. They called Jon, will you do surgery? And he said yes. And Jon is okay for whatever reason with letting him write the story that he's not good with the next crew of guys. Ciryl Gane's in that next crew of guys. Jon just beat that next crew of guys. I mean, not for nothing. Jon can go ahead and give himself a little bit of credit. And he's got a very difficult fight in front of him. People say that they want to see him fight Francis. Well, he's fighting the guy that beat Francis. Tell that part of the story. Ciryl will fight anybody. He laid an egg against Jon. He got scared to death. Tell people that. Tell them why that haunts you. You're not the first, Ciryl. You're not the first to find yourself in a situation and wilt. George St. Pierre was submitted by Matt Hughes with armbar. Matt Hughes has never submitted anybody with an armbar except the greatest fighter of all time. And George came out and he said, my God, here's what happened. I got in there, I got everything that I ever asked for, and I realized it was coming true, and I thought, I don't belong. I don't deserve to be in here. It was never about skills. It was never about a fight. In that moment, as we were being introduced, I look across the ring at a guy who's a main eventer, who's a champion, who I admired for years, and I thought, I don't belong. And he said, I've realized this. I fixed it. I'd like to hear that from Ciryl. Why on earth would we ever put you back in there with Jon? Why should we even believe that you want to be in there with Jon? You told us that last time. You made it clear you didn't want to be in there with Jon. Well, truth is, I'm ashamed. I'm embarrassed. I froze. I don't totally know what happened. But I'm willing to sacrifice, work hard, come back, earn my spot to fix this for myself. I can't let you think you're teasing me. You saw something that I don't know. Now that's a captivating story, and that would be interesting. I don't know that it'd be as interesting as addressing the guy that's sitting right down when we're all still here to see you do that. But I do know that both of those ideas trump fighting that guy and moves you forward.